With Assassin's Creed Shadows just around the corner, there is a lot of info out there, so I've compiled a list of things you need to know before jumping into the game. Hi folks, Higgs here, and welcome back to the channel. So the game releases on March the 20th on the PS5, Xbox Series X, PC and Apple Mac. There is currently no specific time of release or pre-download, but I'm hoping it will be a sensible time for all and we will find out pretty soon. Also, not having old gen holding the devs back will hopefully give us a much better game performance wise, as the devs have more powerful hardware to work with and are not being held back by the old gen. Then we have the story trailer, which told us a few things. Here, Naoe is young and running away from someone, and she is carrying a red box which was given to her by her father, Nagato. It is said that in the box is a family artifact which she needs to protect. Naoe is also climbing a castle and assassinating someone who I presume to be quite important. Yasuke arrives in Japan, but he is originally known as Diogo by his current master, so Nobunaga, after purchasing him, is the one who changes his name. Yasuke also wasn't welcome, as one of the soldiers said that he wasn't one of them.
The black soldier is not one of us. Send him back to wherever he belongs.
Naoe and Yasuke also start out as enemies because Yasuke is fighting for Nobunaga's army. When they are fighting each other, Yasuke acknowledges the hidden blade which Naoe has, so he clearly knows the significance of the hidden blade and the person that wields it, and this will no doubt play a role in the story.
You slaughtered innocents!
The blade. It is you.
I hope the prologue lasts for a while and really sets the foundations for a strong story here. I'm not a fan of when stories are rushed because action RPGs are built from the stories and the characters. As for the setting, AC Shadows is set in feudal Japan, and we play as dual protagonists, Naoe a shinobi assassin and Yasuke a samurai. The story is likely set around the Tensho Eagle War, with Naoe having a family artifact to protect and Yasuke brought in as a slave to fight and serve in Nobunaga's army. After a while, Yasuke realises Nobunaga and his men have no honour and likely doesn't agree with Nobunaga's methods, so he switches sides. The map in AC Shadows is vast, roughly the size of AC Origins' map. There are 9 regions in total, which are Iga, Harima, Omi, Ki, Setsu, Tama, Wakasa, Yamato and Yamashiro. The map does have better scaling this time round though, as it is set in a region and not an entire country. What that means is areas will feel bigger, like mountains, villages, castles and the landscape, with travel to each region taking that bit longer as the world is more full and has more depth to it. Also, Ubisoft have stated that Shadows map will have less map icon handholding and more player driven exploration, stating, "We wanted to craft an open world where information becomes a form of reward." Kyoto, which is the largest city in Shadows' Japan, will be half the size of Paris' map in AC Unity. Also, the game does not automatically reveal every icon on the map upon synchronization, only high level points of interest are marked with a question mark. Quest objectives aren't auto-marked, requiring use of an objective board. Each character offers distinct playstyles, with Naoe focusing on stealth and agility, while Yasuke emphasises on direct combat. Yasuke is a heavy-hitting samurai and comes from the Oda clan, whilst Naoe is the shinobi assassin and represents a more familiar character we've come to know in the franchise, which represents a game in 2 very different playstyles. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that's a good thing, as it will no doubt keep the combat feeling that little bit fresher and more engaging. Plus, all of Naoe's weapons and some of Yasuke's weapons modify their assassinations, which adds more depth and variety to the gameplay. The choice of character will also affect the world around us, with Naoe and Yasuke having different abilities and weapons which make them feel really different. Also, some enemies will act differently, like be scared of Yasuke but more forthcoming with Naoe. That is pure and simply because Yasuke is this big strong man and Naoe she's a smaller woman and she doesn't look as intimidating. The game has been censored in Japan, so Ubisoft made the decision to comply with the Zero, which is Japan's ratings board, with concerns over gore. Shadows did already have a Z rating, which is 18+, but they needed to do that little bit more for that rating to stick. Ubisoft announced this with this statement: "The option to switch dismemberment on and off has been removed from the game settings, and now dismembering the heads and limbs of enemies while playing is permanently disabled. The way severed body parts are depicted has also been changed." The maximum level in Assassin's Creed Shadows is level 60. This will no doubt change when the updates and DLCs hit, but when the game drops, you won't be able to level up over 60. I think that's a good number. Personally, I would have minded it being a bit lower, but it stays with the trend of recent AC games. And speaking of DLCs and seasons, we already know that the DLC will be called Claws of Awaji, and it promises to add over another 10 hours of new content to the game. Players will explore a new region, the island of Awaji, which was historically significant in Japanese mythology. The gameplay elements include a new weapon type, the bow, new skills, gear and abilities, so all the normal stuff you'd get with a DLC. The story involves reclaiming a lost treasure on a Riley island, dealing with new enemies and factions like the Sengoku Ipa. Claws of Awaji is set to release sometime later this year, after the launch of the main game. The expansion is being developed by Ubisoft Bordeaux, the team behind Assassin's Creed Mirage, allowing Ubisoft Quebec to focus on polishing the main game and pushing out patches and balancing updates. Pre-ordering Assassin's Creed Shadows grants players access to this DLC for free, along with a bonus mission called Thrown to the Dogs, which will be available at launch. Those who don't pre-order can still purchase the DLC separately. Pre-order is available now, and that's a good incentive to kind of push you to do so. 10 hours of a new DLC for free is a chunky part of the game we'll be getting, so that is something to seriously think about. Content creator Rafiki spoke to Jonathan Dumont, who is the creative director of Shadows, and he said the story campaign will take roughly 45 hours to complete at a normal pace, and we can expect Assassins and Templar content in Shadows with lots of surprises to come. That will please long-term fans, as the last time the Templars were in the game I think was AC Rogue or something around that time frame. Stealth also plays a significant role in the new global illumination system affecting enemy vision. Players can manipulate shadows by destroying light sources, and mix that with a new season system, players will really have to think about how they approach certain situations, and in the same token, they will probably have a lot of fucking fun with that as well. The season system is more in depth than what I initially thought. After going over the previews, we found out it really does affect the gameplay. Seasons last 40 in-game minutes, after which you can choose to switch, and if you do, depending on what season you get, the environment and enemy AI will act differently. If it is winter, the leaves will fall off trees and you won't be able to hide in bushes. Snow on the ground can make your footsteps quieter but leave behind footprints, and if it is raining, lower ranked enemies will come outside to fight you, whilst the important dudes will stand at the top of his castle staying dry and observing the fight before he comes down. Seasons sound really good and will no doubt add that immersion when playing and get you thinking about your playstyle whilst changing it up. Honestly guys, the season system sounds so good. I can't wait to delve into that. I'm sure you guys can't as well. It's going to be really intriguing actually seeing it in effect whilst we're playing the game. So it's really something that we should all be looking forward to. Yasuke and Naoe will have unique romance options and dialogue based on the player's character's choices. So if you're the loving type, hopefully that scratches that itch for you. There is no more details about that. That's all I've got. Going prone is now a thing in AC Shadows, which is a change I'm looking forward to. In a deep dive, the devs had this to say. Naoe and Yasuke are the first protagonists able to go prone in the series. Going prone reduces your visibility to enemies even further, whether on the ground, on the rooftops or underwater. For Naoe, going prone comes with its own set of movements. By pressing the dodge button when prone, you can roll to the side, front or back, a useful manoeuvre to quickly employ when a guard approaches. Having this mechanic will be like crawling into the vents in games like Metal Gear Solid, providing players with new stealth routes and hiding spots, which is a cool feature. Naoe and Yasuke will have different skill trees. Now this one kind of makes sense and is pretty obvious because they are two totally different types of fighters. The skills you see on screen now actually open up sub-menus with a more in-depth progression map. For me, Naoe's Shinobi and Kusarigama skill tree piques my interest, along with Yasuke's Samurai and Kanabu. Guys, let me know what ones you're most looking forward to leveling up down in the comments below. Hideout customization is a thing in Shadows, and from what we've seen, it looks pretty good. Kev Jewett, a YouTuber, went pretty crazy in his preview and created a crazy hideout. He had a giant cat garden for his furry pets and tried breaking the game by adding a billion lights. I'll link his video in the description, but honestly it's really cool and funny to see. Can't wait to jump in and do something similar myself. Previewers have said you have a lot of control over the placement of buildings as well and how you develop them. Building certain rooms unlocks stats and bonuses you can use, which is a good incentive to actually use the system. But if you just want to design a little town, you can. With all the stuff you'd expect like trees, pavements, walkways and objects, you could get lost in time playing about with this. By petting animals, you can bring them back, so for you animal lovers, remember that. You can also hang weapons and clothing, adding a neat little personal touch there. Upgrading places like your dojo will also give you added stats and benefits. There is a lot to unpack with a hideout system in Shadows, and I'm certain it will be a hit with the player base. The Animus Hub will be introduced with Aces Shadows, which Ubisoft say is a new home for Assassin's Creed games. The 4 core features will be Memories, Projects, the Exchange and the Vault. The Animus Hub is a seamless entry point to the latest games of the Assassin's Creed franchise. When you first launch Assassin's Creed Shadows, you'll immediately be immersed in a new Animus environment, the hack dark Animus of Assassin's Creed's modern day world. As you navigate the hub, you'll be able to access a timeline of recent heroes in the franchise, additional quest lines in Aces Shadows, and most importantly, you'll unlock free rewards as you progress. It is available for all versions of Shadows, and titles prior to Assassin's Creed Origins will not be supported straight away. It comes with rewards and missions, and you can earn keys. If you are interested in other titles and are a big fan of the franchise, then this will be right up your street. There's a massive article over on Ubisoft about this, so I'll link this down below. But guys, that is the end of the video. If you've enjoyed the video at all, please hit the like button, it helps the channel and the video out massively. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button as well for more Assassin's Creed content, games, news and previews. But as always guys, take care and I'll see you on the next video.